Hi, welcome to episode 1. This is going to be our very first lesson of Unhook 'em. Alrighty, so today we're going to talk about something that has boggled my mind and disturbed me for years. I don't know about you, but have you ever had a traumatic experience or something so catastrophic happen to you that you just felt like you could not get over? For me, I went to counseling for years. I've had several therapy sessions, inquiring and asking this question that it seems no one has been able to answer for me. So my hope is that today I can help you to resolve and solve this challenge once and for all. So today we're going to discuss, why can't I just get over it? If this is something that you're interested in, stay tuned. Alrighty, so let's jump right in. The number one reason, let me just give a disclaimer here. I am not a psychologist, a therapist, or anything of the sorts. I am a nurse who has been through hell. I've had more traumatic experiences in my life than I can count, and it's just been one heck of a ride for me. My mission is simply to help you to get unhooked. I'll do another video on the whole unhook 'em and where that theme came from, or where the idea came from. However, let's get in because I don't want to waste any time here. So the number one reason why you are unable to just get over it is because it was painful. For some of you, it may even still be very, very painful. And I want to start off by saying, that's okay. That's okay. Oftentimes, when we go through something traumatic, we like to think that if it was not physical, that it does not harm us in the exact same way. And that, my friend, is a lie, okay? That's a lie. Emotionally traumatic experiences can impact us in the same way as physical traumatic experiences. So for example, if you were just going about your day, and a train just comes by and whoosh, knocks you out, you are going to have physical damage that occurs to your body. Well, guess what? It's the same thing when you have something traumatic happen to you. For example, someone in your family does something to you that should not be done, right? It could be physical, sexual, emotional, mental abuse from a spouse, infidelity, dealing with a loved one who passes away unexpectedly or even expectedly. That can still affect us all in various ways. And it's important to acknowledge the fact that these feelings, this hurt, this pain, this traumatic experience cause pain. It hurts. It's not easy to just get over something. For years that I've gone through counseling, I've always asked, and I've even asked my husband several times, like, how come nobody can help me? Like, is it me or is it them? I don't know. I've wondered that, and it's made me feel like I'm crazy, like something's wrong with me, like I must be the problem because I can't just get over it. So in me just asking God to help me to resolve things that I have experienced in my life that have been very unfortunate, as with you, right? I've asked God to just give me tools and resources that I can use to share with others to help you all to overcome some of these same experiences. Now, one thing I want to just mention really quickly is that although our traumatic experiences are not necessarily the same, we can relate to one another because trauma is trauma, and it affects us in almost all of the same, if not similar fashions. We are going to all go through more than likely the stages of grief. We're going to all have extensive, excruciating, agonizing pain. A lot of us will end up with PTSD. A lot of us will have traumatic dreams and nightmares and wake up in the middle of the night with questionings of why this has happened to me. So although our experiences are not the same, the post-traumatic experiences are similar. And so I want to just speak to some of those things. So in nursing, there's a scale that we use, and if you've ever been injured physically or had any type of pain, you've probably seen this or been asked these questions. We ask you a number 0 to 10. What is the worst pain? 10 being the worst pain that you've ever experienced. What is your pain right now? For patients who are unable to calculate a number, or for peds patients, children, we would typically ask, using a Wong-Baker scale, show me what you're feeling based on these images and their faces of grimacing and etc. So for you, I'd like to ask you, as we wrap up, the number one reason why you can't just get over it. And no, by no means am I suggesting that you get over it. I think that's ludicrous to ask someone to get over something that's caused them so much pain. And trust me, I've been told that without using those exact words by therapists. You kind of just have to, at some point, just kind of just, accept it. Okay, that'll work. Tell me how. So I'm not suggesting that. What I want to do is trigger and acknowledge those thoughts within your mind. So right now, take a moment to stop, and I'm going to post the scale here, both for you to pick 0 through 10, or you can pick a face. What level of pain are you experiencing right now? Because this is part of the reason why you can't just get over it. Okay, so we're going to dive into step 2 in just a moment. Stay tuned. Okay, so the number 2 reason why you can't just get over it is because, just like being hit by that train in the number 1 reason, there are permanent changes to who you are. So I'm going to use the word death a lot in this section, and I want to give you a heads up because I don't want to trigger you. I do understand that for a lot of you, the traumatic experiences that you've had to endure have unfortunately been the passing away of someone that you love, someone close to you. Now, mind you, for some very unfortunate individuals, that happened to be a child. And to me, that is the absolute worst thing that can happen to anyone. And that's just my opinion, because as a parent, the number 1 thing that you want to do is to protect your child. And when you are unable to protect them from the one thing that is permanent in life, that can leave lasting implications and trauma on you. So I want to just caution you. I want to send my condolences and my prayers to you and your family if that has happened to you. Sorry, this is very, 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 very sad, and it's hard for me to talk about, as I've had to experience some traumatic experiences with individuals close to me and in my family who have had that experience, and it's not something that I would wish upon anyone. But when I use the word death in this section or this lesson, just know that I'm referring to a transformation. So yes, physical death for all of us is terrible, and there are situations and circumstances when it is absolutely worse than probably someone else, right? So I want to be sensitive to that. But in this section, we're going to discuss the number 2 reason, which is that there's permanent change. When a death occurs, whether it's physical or if there is a death in a situation. And let me explain so that this kind of makes sense, okay? If a train hits you, there are permanent changes that will happen to your body. Mentally, your physical body, you could lose limbs and extremities, right? Physical damage will occur no matter what, even if it's just a toe. Something's going to happen. You're not going to be the same. If so, then it is an absolute miracle and the grace of God, because a train hitting you, especially because that train comes unexpectedly, you probably didn't know. Most people don't walk in front of the train unless they don't want to live anymore, things like that, right? So if a train hits you, it's unexpected. Typically, that's what happens with a lot of traumatic experiences. Although some can experience trauma with, someone who's on hospice, someone who may be a cancer patient or something like that. Forgive me, guys, my scalp is itching. Anyhow, so if your traumatic experience occurs and it's unexpected, that leads to permanent change. Trauma in general will lead to permanent changes, whether it's expected or unexpected. However, if you've been hit by that train, it's going to trigger so many thoughts within you. A lot of those thoughts for me were around being confused, questioning whether or not I was sane. Like, have I been looking at my life all wrong this whole time? Like, what have I been missing? What is wrong with me, right? Typically, that's what happens when you go through something traumatic, is that the experience transfers from that individual who inflicted the pain to now you being the one who kind of takes on, I like to call it baggage, right? So it's like you take on all the baggage, and now you have to question your mere existence. If it's unexpected, it's typically unannounced, and usually trauma is unwelcomed. If you welcome trauma into your life, okay, that's a little different, but no judgment here. This is a no judgment zone, okay? So because of the unexpected events that caused the trauma or led to the trauma, typically, just like that train, it'll lead to some type of transformation in who you are. So for every person, you have a baseline. That is your standard, okay? So before the trauma, you had a baseline. Now, after this traumatic experience, you're gonna have to create a whole new baseline because you are not the same. That's the number 2 reason why you can't just get over it. And it's because you're not the same due to the fact that now you have this grief that you have to process, okay? So we know Kubler-Ross has a grief cycle, and I love the word cycle because I do not like stages of grief. And the reason why is because if you say stages, then that's as if I'm supposed to go from being in denial to anger to bargaining to depression, acceptance, right? So denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. It's almost as if there's a ladder that I'm supposed to climb. And for most of us, we're not just gonna get there. I know I sure didn't. It took me years, guys, to even get to the point to where I'm at right now, where I'm like, okay, this is my life and I love it here. I freaking love it here. That took years to get there. And it was because for years I was going through anger and I was bargaining and I was, why? Are you sure that this happened to me? And what did I do? And I was, depressed. And then I would go into, you know what? It's okay. That happened. I'm fine. But not really getting to the point to where I'm at now, where it's complete and full acceptance. Took years, ups and downs and ins and outs. Like I saw one graph or one image that showed the cycle of grief, and it was like an in and out, and it kind of like this, like a twisting of, and that's how it felt for me, like this, right? You see the tangling, you see sometimes you're getting stuck, sometimes it's as if you can't get out of it. That's how grief felt for me. And I'm sure that if you're watching this video and if you've made it this far, you can relate. Just know that that's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not crazy. There's nothing wrong with you. You're processing something that unfortunately happened to you that you did not deserve, you did not ask for, nor are you the one who caused it, okay? So the number 2 reason why you're unable to just get over it is because it's caused permanent changes within you. You're going in and out of that grief cycle, and it is challenging, and you should give yourself a break, okay? Give yourself a break, please, for me, please. So next, we're going to get into the number 3 reason, and hopefully in this third section, I'll be able to give you some tools and resources and advice on how you can come to acceptance. That is the capital A word that most of us don't like. How do you make an A? Most of us don't like that word, but it is absolutely the key to being able to embracing and not getting over, but getting through, okay? Alrighty, I hope to see you in lesson 3 or in section 3, lesson 1. I'll see you soon. Alrighty, so welcome to section 3 in lesson 1. This is the very last section in lesson 1 on how to just get over, or as I like to word it, get through a traumatic experience, because trauma is something that can last your entire life. Oftentimes, individuals who have experienced traumatic experiences are likened to those who have gone to war. So imagine the PTSD that someone has from seeing, death around them and, just turmoil and hell on a daily basis, day in and day out. Those are the experiences that can be left with some individuals who experience trauma. And because of that, there's some grace that you need to give to yourself. So you may be asking, what is grace? Grace is giving someone something that they may not necessarily deserve. So for you, you may feel like, well, God, I've been going through this for 10 years, for 15 years, for 20 years. I need to just get over this. Like, what is the problem? I need to just get over this. However, I need you to give yourself some grace. This is not something that you should be rushing or forcing yourself to get through. Now, I know all about this, and the reason why is because as a nurse, we're fixers, okay? I'm a nurse who's empathic. I'm super intuitive and highly sensitive. I want to fix stuff because I don't want to feel it. However, that's not going to work here. In order to get over or get through something traumatic, you're going to have to come to the acknowledgement and acceptance of the fact that this has happened to you. So what does that mean? For me, what that means is allowing yourself to say, like, you know what? I didn't deserve that, but it happened. I wasn't expecting that, but it happened. I didn't like that, but it happened. It happened. Every time you point the finger at the individual who did this to you, you're giving them your power. And this was very hard for me to accept, was that I was giving my power away. It wasn't until recently that I realized that my life is for me to own. Probably a year or so ago, guys, and I'm in my 40s. A year or so ago, I was like, you know what? Who did I think was gonna run this life? Who did I think was responsible for Keturah's life? I don't know. God, my husband, my mom, whoever. Who wants to run this life? Come on, people, get in here and take over and do this for me. But that's not how it works. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. And so maybe a year or so ago, I discovered that, you know what, girl, you need to own your own dadgum life and stop expecting someone else to do something for you. That's your responsibility. So acceptance comes with making the decision to take back ownership of your life. All right, this person who did this to you, if there was an offender, even if it's God, you're allowed to be upset with God. You're allowed to be frustrated and angry with God. You're allowed to have those feelings, because God knows that there are things that we're going to experience in this life that are going to cause pain. He understands that. There's nothing wrong with that. I've been ticked off at him. Like, how dare you allow this to happen to me? And then I had to realize, like, you know what? People who are mean, people who are hurting, people who have their own traumas just like us, do things that hurt other people. And it's not up to me to decide and to determine whether or not they should or shouldn't correct those traumatic experiences, oftentimes from childhood experiences. It's not up to me, as much as I want to be like, you need to go and do, let me give you a lesson on your life. As much as I would like to do that, it doesn't really benefit them or me. It doesn't benefit me, because in the end, they're going to do what they want to do. And it's also not for me to try to control. What I do have control over, though, is my life and what I do with it. And that's exactly what you have control over, is your life. And you are strong enough, powerful enough, and capable enough to be able to get through this. If you weren't, there's no reason or way that you would be watching this video. It's impossible. No one who's actually willing to put in the work would sit through this, maybe 20 something minutes that we've been here talking about something that is so challenging and hard to recover from. So acceptance is, I understand that person did that to me, and that was devastating, terrible, right? I think about all the stories that I've heard about, parents doing things to their children. Just devastating. That child did not deserve that. You did not deserve what they did to you. However, what you do deserve is to live your best life from this moment forward. You do not deserve to be weighed down and bogged down with the stress, the anxiety, the depression, and the pressure that this experience has caused you. The last 2, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 60 years have been enough. Acceptance means taking back what is rightfully yours. You were put here to enjoy your life. You were not put here on earth to live an agonizing life that has been destroying you not only emotionally, mentally, but spiritually and physically. Trust me, I have seen the implications of emotional and mental stress on the physical body. Please do yourself a favor and acknowledge the fact that yes, this happened to you. However, accept the fact that from this moment forward, you can be responsible, and you can flip this thing on its head, turn it around, and begin to live your very best life, free from the burden and the chaos of feeling the stress, the pressure, and the anxiety that was bestowed upon you by someone else. So the number 3 way to get over or get through it is to simply accept that you have the power moving forward to change this situation and to flip it on its head. Alrighty, I hope this helps you. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if there's a topic or something that you want me to discuss. If you'd like me to share some personal experiences, whatever it is, I want to hear from you, because I'm here for you. Thank you again. I so appreciate you. I love you all. I'm praying your strength and that you can push through, because you got this and you deserve this, not for anybody else, but for you. Alrighty, we'll talk soon. Bye.